please let me know when you see my screen.
Yes, I can see your screen now.
Okay, great. So, welcome once again to this session. Hi, everybody. My name is Ufonobom Mondia. You can also call me Bella. I'm a product designer. I design for web and mobile, and um, I design for the entertainment, travel, health, and fintech industry. And recently, just started exploring the Web3 space. Current friends of Figma originally for Africa. And you can reach me on both Instagram and Facebook at Bella underscore Funnelball. So straight into the business of the day. Please, all through this session or during the course of this session, if you have any questions for me, feel free to ask in the chat box, and I'll be sure to answer all of it. So straight into the business. How did I get started in community management? So this started way back in 2018, where I've always been really passionate about community building. The fact that you're helping people come into the space, to take space, and then you're probably helping them set their path straight. You know, basically just holding their hands and showing them stuff. So I kind of felt like, oh, I wish I can do that, because I got it personally. I got into tech way back, way back 2014, if I'm not mistaken, and I was just moving up and down, up and down, doing this one here, doing that one here. Today I'm in Android development. Tomorrow I'm in technical writing. Next tomorrow I'm doing software testing. Another day I'm doing project management. I mean, at some point I even did game development. That was literally how I started, and then I got into front end development. So it was through being part of a community I discovered that, yeah, so many other fields in tech that I can actually explore. And as a result of community, I got to know about the hotels.ng internship I joined. I think that was 2017. And that was literally how I started designing. So after the internship, even the opportunities I got, the job opportunities, referrals, they all came from people in the community. And I just felt like, oh, this is really cool. Like, it doesn't make sense to just do stuff alone, right? Being a part of a community has done a whole lot for me. I made my first money from being part of a community. So that kind of sparked my interest. And I've always been looking for the opportunity. So when I saw the applications from Ingressive, they were accepting students, ambassadors for universities, and I'm like, okay, I think I should give this a shot. Right? I wasn't even big on writing as at then, but I believe I poured my heart into the application, because applications like that usually um have stuff like long essays and all of that. So, and I wasn't big on writing, but I needed this opportunity, and I poured my whole heart into it. And I think as at then, it was headed by the students program was headed by ASKID. And luckily for me, I got accepted. I'm like, okay. I was given the responsibility of hosting my first event. And the fact that I was able to bring students together, right? We had lots of challenges that day, from struggling with venues, struggling of venues with lecturers. We're about starting an event. The lecturer just came, oh, I have a test in this fall, and stuff like that. Like, at some point we got tired, but in the end we still had like a great turnout. So I just told myself, okay, so despite this, could still manage to host this event. And then I got lots of feedback after that event. So it kind of encouraged me to really explore more about community building, despite the other stuffs I was into. Okay. Um, so what is a design community? Before I go into this, I feel, let me just talk about how I started the design community basically. So after Ingressive was just like a general community for both designers and developers, literally everybody. So after Ingressive, I I signed up to be the Friends of Figma. Then it was the Figma Uyo, right? I signed up to be an advocate for Figma Uyo, and I was accepted. But then I was a bit clueless about what to do or how to get started because I was still learning design and coming to lead a group of designers. I mean, it's just like you don't know what you're doing, but you're leading people, right? So I reached out to Namso and he said, you know what, I'm going to assist you, just start something, right? So I hosted the first event, and that event harvested a whole lot of beginners. Like they got into the design field, and that was how I started design community. And just last year, I would I say kind of got promoted to the regional lead role. So, what is a design community? A design community is a place full of people with common interests, right? You know, we have the developer communities, we have communities for digital marketers, we have communities for literally everything, robotics, artificial intelligence, and all of that. You can be a designer and go to a group that has blockchain people there, right? You won't really understand all the jargons ongoing there. So it's a place with full of people with common interests. You come to a design community, you get to see other designers as well that are doing what you're doing. A design community gives you the opportunity to bounce ideas and learn from other people. So being that you're in a place with people that have a common interest with you, you'd be able to bounce ideas. Hey, I'm thinking of working on this project. What do you think? How do you think I should go about it? And then someone from the community can just, give you a hand or give you tips on how to get started. So another thing is design community enables you network and gives you visibility. Networking in the sense that you get to meet other people that are doing stuff that you're doing, and then you're aware that we all have like different career paths. Like we all took off from, different levels. There are people that got into the design field maybe as um a developer and over time transition into design. There are people that got in just maybe as a designer. There are people that got in without any knowledge of anything and all of that stuff, right? So you get to network with these people, learn from them, learn their processes. And then in terms of visibility, it makes people know that this is what you're doing. When you're part of a design community, like people get to see you, they know what you're doing, they know you're a designer, and it makes it really for them to, refer you for stuff, refer you for opportunities. Um, Also, a design community is a place that can give a confidence boost, right? So especially for beginners and especially for people that maybe it's literally for everybody, right? It gives everybody that confidence boost, but at maybe different stages of your career. Maybe as a beginner, you don't know how to get started. There are people ready and willing to help you get started or lead you or mentor you. Or let's say you get to a certain stage and you're kind of feeling like, oh, you have this imposter syndrome. I cannot do this. Or you just feel like, oh, this is not my thing. I mean, there are people who are willing to, talk to you, get you pumped up, and all of that. And finally, a design community teaches and encourages you to try new things. You don't just stay as a solo designer. If you're a part of a design community, you get to, as much as you get to meet other people, you get to participate in the activities. There are some communities that bring up stuff like designathons, online sessions, you know challenges and all of those things. Like it helps you learn new things and try out new things, which normally you wouldn't have done if you were on your own. Okay, so um after all the intro about design community and you're super pumped, oh my goodness, I want to get started, how do you actually go about it? Now the first thing is you must have great communication skills. Like it's one thing to start a community, it's another thing to be able to communicate to the people you're leading. So if you don't have great communication skills, you may find it very difficult to communicate certain ideas to the people you're about to lead. Also, you have to make it accessible. Now, I get to hear lots of folks say, "Oh, I want to create this community, or I want to um, open a closed group community for designers." Really, there's nothing like closed group, especially if except you want to maybe do it with your group of friends or with specific people. But if it's something you want other designers from maybe different parts of the world to be a part of, you have to make it accessible. Let people know that this is what you're doing. Come and join me. The next thing is you have to learn to be encouraging and enthusiastic. You don't want to be a community lead that doesn't know how to encourage your followers or your members. Let me not use the word followers. You don't want to be you don't want to be a leader that doesn't know how to encourage your members. What if somebody gets stuck? What if they are having a challenge? Like, you should be able to encourage that person. You should be able to give that person options. Okay, these are the things we feel you can do, and the things we feel you can do. This is going to help you out, and all of that. And as a community lead, if you're starting now or you want to create a community, you should build a team. Now, you and I know that at some point you probably get tired, or you probably, feel like you're the only one carrying this stuff on your head, nobody's helping you. Now, when you're starting out, always make it open to people, give people the opportunity to join you to build that community. That's like taking a chance on people, right? You may feel like this person cannot deliver or something, but you want to start out, try to give people that opportunity. Hey, I want to build this design community. This is the idea I have about it. Can you join me? Right? There are people that they don't necessarily need to help you with the planning. You could have somebody that would handle your social media accounts, or you could have somebody that would help you in reaching out to speakers, or help you, set up venues and all of that. So build a team, carry people along. And the next thing you would want to consider is to set up a structure. Now, in terms of setting up a structure, it would make things really easy for you when you're just starting out, because you'll probably be working, or you'd probably have like, um you may probably be in school or have one responsibility or the other. So what should work for you is structures you'll be setting up. Okay, so how do I want things to run? Now, by structures, I mean how you want things to run in that particular community. Do I want to be having online sessions? If yes, when do I want to have this session? How will it take? What form and shape will it take? When do I have to reach out to people? Stuff like that, putting things together, and then you already know. And then after setting up the structure, if you can, create like, could be a month calendar. Okay, so for the community for this month, this is what I want to follow. On Mondays we're gonna do this, on Fridays we're gonna do this. That way, all you need to do is look out for the structures you've already set, look out for the to-dos, and just get started. Reach out to people, get your team to help you out. And then the final thing I noted down here is to partner with companies. Now, you do not want to do this alone. First of all, I should make you understand that um, not all communities pay. Okay, there are some communities that actually, you know, would I say it's your test of what's the word? Test of passion, if that makes sense. So you would want to partner with companies in the sense that you need a venue, not just companies, could be hubs, right? Depending on where you are, you need venue for your events. You need to raise funds. You need to do a lot of things. So partnering with companies, to exchanging value would really help you um, start out strong. Okay, so after building your community, how do you sustain it? Because one thing is getting started as a community leader in design, a community manager in design, and another thing is sustaining it. So the first thing I have here is to create and share value. Now, for you to sustain a community, you have to be able to create and share value. What are the members of your community getting? Are they just in the group or on the Slack channel or on the Discord channel? What are they doing? What's happening there? Do you have sessions that are valuable to them? Do you have maybe design challenges or design items or stuff that benefits them? That way, when they know that they are constantly getting value from this place, they would want to be part of it and they would want to share what they also have. Someone might even walk up to you and say, "Oh, hey, I, I know a lot about this particular topic. I feel if you give me the opportunity, I mean, I would love to share with the people." Like, by the time you consistently give out value, people would also want to give back the value in return. And that way, you are able to build a sustainable design community. And the next thing is make it inclusive. Inclusive in the sense that, now, by inclusive, I don't mean ladies or the age stuff and all. Yeah, that's also part of it. But by inclusive in this sense, I mean accommodate other design fields. Now, you may rarely see a design community that would say, "Oh, we're mostly focused on product designers," or "We're mostly focused on," there may be communities like that, but if you don't have a niche, try to include other design aspects, because at one point or the other, you might need their services. You might, in as much as you're hosting or your major focus is to host a UI/UX community or to lead a UI/UX community, at some point you are going to need the services of a UX writer, or at some point you're going to need the services of a UX researcher. So it's best you try to make this community inclusive, so you have people from these different aspects come together and build stuff. Then the next thing, I would say, is to have retrospective sessions. During retrospective sessions, you get to collect feedback. What do you guys think about this community? Um, how do you feel so far? The activities we've had, what do you think can be done to improve? This is often one of the things that help people generally sustain their community, because you're carrying the people you're managing along, and then they get to, it's just like user research. you get to you get to find out what they actually want and what they actually feel. That way it's going to help you make a lot of changes and build a community that accommodates them and understands what they want. And the next thing you can do to make your design community sustainable is to put your members in the spotlight. Now, by putting your members in the spotlight, you would want to tell the whole world that, hey, I have amazing people in my team. I have amazing people in my community. This person does this person does that. I mean, at that point, it may feel like nobody is seeing what you're doing, but then over time, right? Over time, people get to see that, oh, this community posted about this guy, that he's a really good researcher, and then they get to, ask more about the person. How good are you in UX research? You know, Putting them in the spotlight boosts their confidence, and then it brings the attention on them, which can, make them have access to opportunities and all. And the final thing I have on my list here is to give responsibilities. You don't want to be a solo community manager, and at some point, at some point, life life may take you out of that environment, or may bring different interests along your way, and you would want to maybe, it's not compulsory you leave, but there are people that maybe they get to a certain stage and they feel like, okay, I've given enough, I should move on to other things. Now, at this point, if you were a solo community manager that did not carry people along, give them responsibilities, make them handle some stuff, you may find it very difficult to move on, or you may find it very difficult to hand over the community to somebody because it was just you. You're the one planning the events, you're the one managing the activities, you're the one hosting sessions, you're the one reaching out to people, you're the one doing everything. And then when it's time for you to leave, you notice that some communities that just fall from top to bottom, like almost immediately, because there was no one to take over from the current lead, or there was nobody to, pick up from where that person started. So um give responsibilities to people. Let them have a test and feel of power. Like, it doesn't make you less of a community manager. It doesn't mean you're no longer a community manager now. It's just to give people the chances to, be in that position. It helps them learn. Be the one to give them their first community management experience. Okay. So all through my journey in community management since 2018 till now, these are a few things I've learned, and trust me, there are a whole lot of them, but these are just a few I noted down. First thing is that it takes patience. It takes patience to literally do everything in community management, from being patient with people. I mean, there are times you talk about events or talk about ideas of things you want to do, and then nobody responds. It can be so painful, right? So you have to learn how to be patient with people till they pick up, offer the right value. When people see that you're constantly offering value, I mean, they would want to stick with you, right? The next thing is that it needs passionate people. Now, at some point, you may just start getting so paid that, oh, I'm not, I'm not getting paid, or I'm not, you just feel a certain type of way. Could be a challenge, or could be what somebody said, you just start feeling down, or maybe the first event you hosted was a big flop and you just start feeling bad that, oh, I'm not good for this. And you have to be passionate about leading people. You have to be passionate before you're able to successfully manage a community. The next thing is to have a few backup plans. I can't even begin to mention how this has helped me all through my days in community management. Like, not having backup plans can 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 ruin your entire day, in the sense that you've given people responsibilities, you feel they can deliver, you trust they can deliver, you've taken the chances on them, and then the D-Day comes and nobody shows up. You call this one, hey, I have an emergency. You call the next person and the person says, oh, sorry, I have a class. They start giving you excuses like that. And if you didn't have a backup plan to, um replace if they were not available, you discover that the whole planning you put into place was a really big flop. So always have backup plans for everything you do. Next thing is know when to use a different approach. So are you doing the whole at channel, at everyone, at community ish, talking to everybody and nobody is responding? Why not try reaching out to them one on one? Or why not try bringing in activities that everybody can participate? It could be a game, could be a session, could be reaching out to somebody, hey, are you available, can you take this beginner topic, and all of that. The next thing is listen and observe people, know what they want, know when they are still interested and when they've lost interest in a particular thing. Then the next thing you should note, one of the things I learned, mistakes are inevitable. The event I was talking about earlier today of my Twitter account, the Ingressive event, that event really taught me a whole lot. Like, I cried on that day. I'm not even going to lie. I cried. Like, tears came out from my eyes because it was almost a big flop. Giving our responsibilities. That was like my first event hosting experience, giving responsibilities. Hey, you're supposed to handle venue, you're supposed to handle refreshments, you're supposed to handle this. And then I was still in school. I had a test that morning. By the time I got to finish my test, came all the way down, none of the guys were there. the refreshment was not on ground. The generator guy, they had never even rented the generator. The venue, a lecturer was using the venue, and even when the lecturer finished, another one came. Like it was almost a big flop. I cried because I almost lost control because I'm like, what is happening? Right. So I made that mistake of not having my backup plans, that mistake of, fully entrusting stuff. And then the last thing I also learned that it's not about me, it's not about you. Yes, you're the community manager, but it's not about you. It's about the people you're managing. Learn to bring them on board and let them take control of stuff. Don't be afraid to tell somebody, hey, handle this, right? And in as much as you're telling them to handle stuff, always try to, monitor or coordinate and make sure that your backup plan is intact just in case. And these are helpful tools that I used all through my journey. Slack, Discord, Telegram, WhatsApp were for, creating groups, bringing them together, and easy communication. For documentation purposes, distribution or assignment of responsibilities, duties, planning, setting of structures. I made use of Notion, Trello, Airtable, Todoist, Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides. And for communication, mostly make use of email, Google Meet, Zoom, Vimeo, storing of our community assets like pictures and stuff that we use, Dropbox and Google Drive, Google Photos. I forgot to add that. And then for most especially Google Calendar, Google Calendar. So what happens is you have like a database for the people in your community, their email addresses and stuff that is really important to them. So you just like schedule meetups or schedule events via Google Calendar, makes it really easy for them to join. And Grammarly, as a community manager, you're writing literally almost all the time, so you don't want to make a bunch of mistakes and send to your members. So Grammarly helped a lot. Social media accounts, do not underestimate social media accounts. It gives you that visibility, especially when you make use of hashtags. And thank you so much, guys, for joining. Time for questions. Do you have any questions for me? This is the time where I'll answer. But if you cannot think of any questions for now, feel free to reach out on Twitter and I'll be one DM away. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Bella. That was super powerful. Thank you so much. I think I learned a lot. I learned a lot, and I really love when you said community gave you your first gig, and I can testify to that. Right, community gave
Yeah,
me my first
hallelujah.
period. Yeah, so from community gave me my first period design gig as a period designer. I just went to a conference, went to a meetup, and I saw this cool guy. I was a graphic designer trying to transit into the UI UX space. So I just had a chat with them, showed them my portfolio, and we just had a chat and we laughed about it. When I got home, like some weeks later, they told me, "Hey, I saw this gig somewhere. I know the hiring manager. So community
Yeah.
is a great way. Yeah, I just have one question. I don't know.
Okay.
Yes. So my question will be, how can I create momentum? Like earlier before, like I said, I'm trying to build my community, and that's why I'm happy to listen to you and have you here. How can I create momentum to keep my community going? And I want to grow my community organically, right? I know there are some inorganic ways, like market, social media ads, paying of audiences or paying of um, how like with the influencers, right? But I just want to grow mine organically. So how can I do that?
Okay, so I feel it's just for you to start really small if you want to grow organically because if 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 you're growing organically, you don't expect people to just troop in their numbers. Reach out to friends, let them know what you're doing, send the point of contact, could be a group link or could be the Slack link. So this is what we're doing, community. Come join us. Or you may want to screen them out because I sure do know the developers we have. I hope there's no developer on this call, but I know developers are really stubborn, and they may end up being may end up having like 90% of developers on the group and just 10% of designers on the group, right? So I think you could just like have um maybe create a form, right? Send out to your friends, send out to your people in your sphere of contact, and tell them what you're doing, right? People that are interested will definitely sign up. They may end up being 10, they may end up being 20, they may end up being 30. That way, you know that you've got these people organically, and then you've got people that are interested in what you're doing instead of running ads. I mean, if you run ads, literally anybody can see it, right? And they will just join. And at the end of the day, most of them might just join for joining sake because, oh, there's a group. There are just some people that naturally want to belong to many groups. Like, I don't know what it does for them, but they just naturally want to join as many groups as they can. So I think you could, just create that form, let people reach out. Trust me, they are going to reach out as long as you fully explain what you're doing, and then you try to keep them active, because they may join and there's nothing going on and they leave like almost ASAP. Hope I answered your question.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so
All
much.
right. So,
So,
since there are no other questions, thank you so much for having me on stage.
we're glad to have you. Is your the deck going to be available? Maybe those who weren't able to join, they could go through it after this call.
Yeah, yeah, sure. I think I should even share that like now on the call.
Sure, that'll be great.
Okay, just give me a minute.
No
Uh,
problem.
okay, done.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Bella. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your knowledge of building design community. As a designer, I really, really enjoyed this and hope to hear from you soon. Hey guys,